Good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Ask an Islander. It is Friday, November 17th. Oh my gosh, next week is Thanksgiving, and we are sitting down with Marcie Garza here at the Dugan. We're going to talk about keeping your holidays relatively healthy. Don't be scared. Like, not all the way healthy, but we're going to be smart about it, right?
Yes, that's the goal.
So thank y'all so much for tuning in. Today we are going to answer some student questions.
My favorite.
Some of them are hilarious. I hope y'all get a kick out of these. So I think the biggest thing about the holidays is the sheer volume of food.
Yes.
What is the best way to not overeat, in your opinion?
Yeah, so I think around the holidays, it's especially important to think about, food as part of the celebration rather than the whole celebration. Right? So if your holiday festivities are, we eat this and then that and drink this and then have that, maybe try adding some other things in there. Like maybe go watch a parade or play a game of football or something to switch it up. Don't maybe turn your whole holiday celebration over on its head, but maybe try one new thing that's not food related.
Yeah.
But then ultimately we're going to sit down and feast. Right?
Yes.
So what I like to encourage is following the plate method, which I have some plates here that I use with our students and clients pretty regularly. This is more of like a breakfast example, but this one might look pretty similar to what we would have at the holidays. And this is like with my tweaks made and some adjustments. Most of us don't have apples at our Thanksgiving meal. But ultimately, with the plate method, what we do is we encourage making half of your plate produce. Lightly sauced when possible, but understanding that the holidays are full of casseroles. Looking for, lighter gravies, or like I'll do with my green bean casserole, is I'll kind of try and get some of the green beans without all of the mushroom cream sauce. Right. That's delicious, but I don't want a whole lot of that.
Or the fried stuff on top.
The onion bits on top. I'll include a little bit so I still get that crunch and that flavor that's familiar.
Right.
But I don't make that my vegetable, right?
Right.
And then maybe, like this plate has apples, but instead of apples, maybe doing things like roasted carrots. One of my favorite things that I've included into our holiday spread is a mixed roasted vegetable dish. So I have asparagus, cherry tomatoes that I've cut in half, and mushrooms that I usually just quarter. I toss it in a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, and you can add some fresh or dried thyme, some fresh or dried rosemary. And that's just like if you're wanting to be really fancy. But that's just another way to add vegetables to your dish.
Okay.
Because that's the challenge, right?
Yes.
So if you fill up your plate, or fill half of your plate up with vegetables or fruits, it's kind of by default going to take off some of the starchier, higher fat, higher carbohydrate foods, like the mashed potatoes, the casseroles, the rolls, the stuffing, like that kind of stuff. Not that you can't have them, but if you focus on the produce, there's just inherently less space at the plate. So something to try might be sticking to one plate, serving the things that you love, not everything that's there.
Right.
For instance, I love this broccoli, cheese, and rice casserole that my grandparents made, and it's delicious. And all year, that's what I look forward to. And historically, before my life as a dietitian, because there was a life before I was a dietitian, it was like a whole plate of this casserole, and I would go to bed at night miserably stuffed, like just trying to breathe. We've all been there. Just like, okay, I can breathe.
Like secretly, like unbuttoning your pants at the table, like.
Yeah, and so when I started to say, like, okay, if I put more of the vegetables, I have less of that, I can take some home, have it tomorrow, and enjoy it for longer versus not even get to enjoy it at that plate. So really just working with your plate, bringing a vegetable to the holiday spread, adding some activity. I feel that's a healthier way to do the holidays.
Absolutely. So what about, I was thinking about some holidays, some dinners do ham and some do turkey. Is there a benefit to one or the other? Or
so I prefer turkey because I like to go for the turkey breast, which is leaner than say a ham would be. Also traditionally hams are basted in like a honey glaze, high sugar glaze. But if you really like the ham, one thing you can do is maybe add a portion of turkey and use the ham as almost like a condiment. So you have a little bit of ham with every slice of turkey. So you still get that flavor that feels like the holidays, but you're making a healthier choice.
Okay, that's interesting. You also said something really wonderful right before we started about making sure that you cook some things so you can control what's going into them, which is very clever.
Yes. So we were talking about like added sugar, sources of added sugar, or added fat, just things that are in our food that we buy from the store without realizing what's in it.
Right.
But if you take it upon yourself to get into the kitchen and cook something for yourself or your family or whoever's at your holiday feast, you can say, okay, how much butter do they want in that cupcake recipe? Maybe not 3 sticks, let's try 1.5. Most of the time, y'all, spoiler alert, you can take a dessert recipe, cut out half the butter or fat, and be just fine. A lot of times, too, you can cut out some of the sugar and be just fine.
A lot of them call for, too, because I am doing low sugar right now. And one of the things I've noticed, too, is you can use kind of all-natural applesauce in baking, which I thought was super, and you can find them with really low sugar. Not so much the popular kind of like the branded ones, but there are others that have lower sugar, and you can use those to bake, and they taste great.
Yeah, so one of my favorite tips is something that I've done for my family, and they don't know, so hopefully, I may not give them a link to this video. But I will make like a holiday trifle, which is like a layered dessert. So in a bowl, instead of trying to perfectly frost a cake, which inevitably will get banged up in the car. So
and you just get sad.
Yes, so I'll put it in a bowl, a clear bowl. And it's essentially layers of cake, pudding, whipped cream, cake, pudding, whipped cream. Well, I add berries as one of the layers, so that's one of the things that you can do to add produce, right? But then when I make the cake, I use the box. And instead of adding all of the oil and the whole eggs, what I'll do is I'll use unsweetened applesauce in place of oil. You could also use pumpkin puree in place of oil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then instead of using the whole eggs, I'll use egg whites at about 1/4 cup of egg whites per 1 large egg. And so that doesn't necessarily cut down the sugar in the cake mix, but it does cut down the calories by cutting down some of the fat. So that's one of the tricks, and it comes out super moist. Nobody knows that you've changed the recipe. It is delicious. And so I'll use that, and then I'll use a sugar-free chocolate pudding to lower the sugar content.
Yeah.
And then for the whipped cream, I'll either use a sugar-free whipped cream or I'll make my own. It's so easy if you haven't made your own. It tastes amazing. Just heavy whipping cream and a hand mixer. You can use a whisk. It'll take a little bit longer, but it's also a good workout. A hand mixer and a little bit of powdered sugar, and you can control how much powdered sugar you put in.
Right.
Or you can use like a baking Splenda or something like that. And so you'll just layer all of those things and make a beautiful dessert. So you can take that idea to any recipe that you're used to making.
Just little things. So then I'm thinking, like I love the green bean casserole. I love it so much. And so now I'm wondering, if we use cream of mushroom soup that has like low sodium and like doing little tricks like that, maybe using fresh green beans as opposed to like canned and like, those are great little tricks.
Some tips, and you can, then you're controlling how much salt is in there. You're controlling how much sugar is in there, how much of the cream of mushroom. Maybe the recipe calls for 2 cans, and you can just use 1. Right, and thin it out with some milk.
And probably add like fresh mushrooms and add like onions and stuff. Kind of like, see? Great idea. Super helpful. So then, okay, here's the big question that we were wondering too. So pies. Okay, so low sugar. However, I do believe that you have to treat yourself every now and again. So what is a treat that's still not going to like we're talking about apple pie versus pumpkin pie, or probably staying away from frosting, so maybe...
Yeah, so when it comes to like pies, there are a couple of things. So either I'm all about the camp that's like, do the real stuff but have less of it. I'm all about that. So you could totally make your grandma's favorite pie with all the Crisco, right? But just have a smaller piece.
Right.
Or you can healthify it a little bit. So one of the things that I'll do is make like a crustless pie. So it's almost more like a cobbler. Yeah. And make your own streusel on top. So really, cobblers are fantastic because you can put in berries, apples, peaches, pears, pear and cranberry together is fantastic. So good. You can use frozen, you can use fresh, whatever is easiest for you, and put that in the bottom of like a cake pan, like a circular cake pan. It doesn't have to be wild. And then you can control how much sugar is added to that filling.
Right.
You could also use the pie filling in a can. There are tons of options that are sugar-free.
Oh, wow. Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's sweetened with Splenda. So you could definitely do that to cut down on time. And then instead of pouring it into a pie shell, you can just pour that in on the bottom and make a crumble on top with some oats, a little bit of butter or coconut oil, whatever you prefer to use, a little bit of brown sugar, and some added like slivered almonds or crushed pecans, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, all of those will go well. And just bake it for a little bit until the top kind of gets a little crusty, or like golden brown. Crusty doesn't sound very good. Crusty's not a descriptive word. This is live.
Well, you know, we're substituting crust, so that's where we got that from. Yeah. So I love that. So also we were talking about kind of trades. So something that's kind of a lot of the students all are looking for little trades.
Sure.
So this one, like these guys were talking about trades for like when they order pizza. This isn't as holiday themed, but like what kind of trades can we be making? Like this one, like if we stay away from the rolls, can we get more of a different kind of food?
Yeah.
Or like kind of giving up things that maybe you don't like as much that are like the big gut bombs.
Yeah. No, I hear you. So kind of starting with that pizza thing, like what can we swap for pizza around the holidays? I mean, just to be real, holidays are stressful, right? I cook a lot for our holiday feasts, and I do a lot of the Christmas shopping. Like holidays are busy for me and busy for a lot of people, especially students studying for finals, getting ready to travel. That is a stressful time. You're wanting to eat all of your food, not buy some more because you're going to leave. So buying pizza and convenience foods is very common. So what can you do to do convenience foods healthier?
Right.
The grocery stores have fantastic selections in the produce section of prepackaged salads. They have like family size, they have individual, they have snack sizes. I'm a huge fan of the salad bowls with like pasta in it, some chicken pieces.
They're more substantial when they have just a little. I mean, it's like barely like a quarter of a cup of pasta, and it's just feels better.
And they kind of fit the My Plate, where you have enough pasta to fill about a quarter of your plate. They still have protein, and they have tons of greens and additions. So that's a really nice convenience item. Heading into the cooler season, I think we're getting a cold front tomorrow. Yay! You might want something a little bit more warm. So going into the frozen section, take all the help you can get from the grocery store. Go into the frozen section, get some of those microwavable meals. There are tons that are really well balanced. Look for produce heavy trays, and you can get those for $3.75 or less for an entire meal. If you're not going to get full with that, maybe adding an apple or a side salad to really round out that meal. So I think that's going to be some good things to use for convenience versus like the default pizza.
Now, do you have an opinion on like they have lean cuisine and all have like the skinny pizzas or like the low calorie pizzas? Can we get away with those?
Yeah, but I would definitely say like with those like thinner microwavable meal pizzas, adding produce, a yogurt cup, something to boost the protein and the overall calorie content so that you're feeling full and satisfied. Because if you try and eat just one of those small little trays for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're going to wake up for a midnight snack and that half gallon of ice cream will be gone in a couple days. Yeah. So fill up at the meal. And then the other question after the pizza was like the trays at the meal. Yeah. So like rolls. So when we think about our typical holiday plate, we have rolls, we have biscuits, we have dressing, we have the broccoli, cheese, and rice casserole.
The mashed potatoes.
So we have lots of starchy, grain-heavy sides at our holiday meal. So if you're going to, what I like to do is think about what you really love. I think I mentioned this at the beginning, but like for me personally, I love the broccoli, cheese, and rice casserole. I don't really like the bread, and I usually eat the noodle corn casserole out of habit because it's there. So think about what you really want to have. Put that on your plate. Have that take up a quarter of your plate. And then try and add some of those more nutritious, like the green bean casserole or the roasted holiday veggie medley that I talked about, and fill up on that. If you're thinking like, no, but I have to have all of those casseroles, pack those up, take them home, have them the next day or the day after, or both. Or get the recipes and learn how to make them yourself, and maybe cut down on some of the butter or the added creams and the sugar. You can make them your own and make them a little healthier.
I love that you can do that with things, and I think that the idea of cooking, cooking is not hard. They've had some cooking classes this semester. Are y'all going to bring those back in the spring?
We are. So we're looking at a 4-week progressive cooking class in the spring.
Awesome.
This fall we opened it up to 12 students, and it was super, super fun. Though I'm probably biased about it. But we learned the basics. So like how to hold a knife, how to chop, slice, dice, mince, how to steam, saute.
That's so
and
cool.
So by the end, we had a lot of students try new vegetables that they thought they hated and now they're using regularly. Get comfortable with new cooking styles, way to prepare meals in a healthy way. And it's not complicated. The whole class is about an hour long, and it's 4 straight weeks, and then you've graduated from the basics, and you have a lot of new tools in your toolbox to cook for yourself in a quick, easy, and expensive way.
That is so neat, and a healthy way, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So you're going to do that again in the spring.
Yes.
And there's a small fee for students. Like, it's really inexpensive.
Yes. So it's $10 for all 4 classes.
Y'all.
Yeah, and really, you're walking away with far more than $10 worth. Lots of knowledge, but you get fed every time.
Ooh,
Our students go home with a Tupperware or a storage container, so they can bring that back every week, and they walk away with leftovers. So we feed you a couple times. And
how do we keep an eye out for that?
So follow our social media accounts here at the Dugan with Rec Sports, Instagram, Facebook, our website. We'll be posting that.
Okay.
Probably opening it up in the spring versus any time now, because we want you guys to enjoy the holidays, enjoy this semester, come back in January for some news.
Awesome, yeah, and we will be sharing this too as soon as they come up. I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
thank you so much for all the great tips. Y'all, happy holidays. Everybody be safe next week. Go to class on Tuesday if you're supposed to. And we will be back on Monday, special edition, 27th, with Julie and Jennifer. We're going to talk about Islander lights. Yay, we're getting into Christmas. Woohoo! We'll see y'all later. Happy holidays.